in 1863 by an act of King George III of England had nothing to do with us. We was already here and we already had our system in play. They call them tribal courts now. We was already doing this before they came. And we was doing it in what you call in liberty and justice courts. Liberty courts are courts that's going to try to make sure that you are not penalized for something that you had no control over. Yes, bar members. Every bar member is an agent of the crown. They are a foreign agent to this land. How do you know this? Every attorney has the title of Esquire. Esquire is a legal term to represent a royal status, prohibited in Article 1 by the state and the federal government to issue a title of nobility. The second one is the judge, which is classified as an honorable, which is also a title of nobility issued by the crown. Well, somebody told me one time, well, if they was nobles, then their children. It's called letters patent. They can issue a title of nobility by letters patent. Letters patent mean that only the person with the document of letters patent is a noble of whatever rank they have been given. Now, in their system, in their judiciary, when you say judiciary, you speaking about the fake imposter Jews, the Khazarians, the conquistadors or conquering Tudors, the artificial royal families that was exiled from Europe and came over here to impose themselves on our land and pretend to be us. It wasn't working well. So they had to go get some people from our genetic stock from the other side of the water and try to make it look like it was a massive influx of people brought to this land. Bullshit. We was already here. We was here when they came. We about to be here when these bitches leave. Period. Now, when you understand that they barristers operating with titles of nobility in a barrister matter that has nothing to do with you, the jurisdiction becomes incompetent in face of inalienable rights that they cannot compromise unless they talk to God himself. So when you see the word God in the court system, where you see on the dollar saying God we trust, and you see that in the courtroom in God we trust. Well, who the fuck is God that they trust? His name in Israel was Gad, for he was a troop, a military contingent, an army. We are legion, for we are many, a troop. A legion is a Roman military contingent, just as Gad was a Hebrew military contingent. So the child of Jacob was named Gad because they seen a military troop. So they named him Gad. In English, the word Gad is pronounced God. It's the same word. They tricked you into thinking that God was this super powerful, magnificent being in outer space sitting on a cloud just waiting on some shit. And you fell for it. So they drag you in their courts and they join the parties by force. That's not a competent jurisdiction. It's actually an incompetent jurisdiction. Because unless they can prove to you that you are a bar member, you do not have a standing in their court, nor do you have a remedy. Unless they can prove to you that their jurisdiction overrides your inalienable right, then you have no standing in a court and you have no remedy. Unless they can prove to you that they are not merely acting under the color of law. That's United States Code 1983, color of law, where the state represents themselves as a legal entity when they not. That's when they compel a citizen to commit a criminal act by their very nature of being present and then penalize the citizen or the person or the individual. So many legal terms and there's so much legal crisscross to trap you up. The only concern that you have is jurisdiction. They don't have competent jurisdiction. They cannot establish competent jurisdiction. Because when you go to a state court and you ask them if they are Article 3 adjudicator, they're going to have to tell you no. That's also where you have no standing and no remedy. But even if you're in an Article 3 court, which means you've been federally charged, your remedy is United States Code 1983, color state law, color federal law. I think that's 85. Now, neither the federal government nor the state government can masquerade as a competent legal entity. When they do this, they are imposing their will and undermining your inalienable rights. Now, notice, Declaration of Independence precedes Continental Congressional Record, and it precedes U.S. Constitution, which means it is the standing superior document. So read Declaration of Independence and you'll find that if there came a time when your inalienable rights are being compromised, they say that the energies of the earth, it's basically talking about the earth's spirits, the ancient ones, would return to establish justice and balance. And here we are. The ancient ones have returned. Now, the next thing you have to understand when you're dealing with these people is don't take it personal. Most of them only following the script because nobody's questioning them competently. If you question them competently, they're not only going to give you respect, but they also going to get the fuck out your way because they know you're not regular. Now, who has a competent jurisdiction in the land? Tribal court rules now. Indigenous rights is the overriding right of the people of the land. You do not have to participate in their legal fiction system unless you do it from the state of pure ignorance. Their judicial system is set up on a house of cards, and I'm the fucking wind. A strong gale force wind. I am Cyclone Garvey. You got to remember that. I'm Cyclone Garvey, about to blow this house of cards down. They call me the big bad wolf. Right? The only house that should stand is that which stands on the indigenous rights of the people. The inalienable right of the individual to function without being compelled to criminal activity by a legal fiction in a false legal system. So, when you understand that all law is commercial, you are not an instrument of a commercial distribution unless you are cool with being a slave. Because the only people held in reprisal for a debt are the slaves. The slaves are the POWs, the prisoners of a war that was lost. There's only one motherfucker know how to win the war. Well, I'm showing y'all now. Go, Ambria. The fucking win, that's right. Show them. And so, once you start asking these questions, 9 out of 10, they're going to close the court to allow you to continue and evacuate it because they don't want you infecting the minds of their good sheeple, making these sheeple turn to people, taking them out of the crowded herd mentality, being marched off to the slaughterhouse. Right? Only way to resist that is to be aware. So, United States Code 1983 is the color of state law. I think it's 1985 is the color of federal law, color of law. These color of law mean that they pretending. That's why they call it color. They color themselves legal, but they not legal. So, Let's take Big Meech. Big Meech is in there for drug trafficking. According to their rules and regulations that they're passing off as the law, Big Meech remedy is that he was acting as a de facto agent of the state. While the state was aware, they utilized him as an instrument of criminal activity to further the agenda of the state in the drug trafficking network. Salute, Daniel. So he was working for them. Where's his precedent and where's his research reference? Ricky Ross is the precedent. Ricky Ross is owed approximately $20-something billion by this government right now. Is the reason why they took him and locked him up. The federal government owed Ricky Ross, what we call him Freeway Ricky Ross, out of California, at least about $20 billion for utilizing him to push their agenda. If you only go by what they have paid foreign agents that they've paid to do the same exact thing Ricky Ross was paid to do, they owe him approximately $20 billion, right? Because he was acting as unawares as an agent of the state in the distribution of the cocaine, right? This is also applies to Big Meech. They said Big Meech was committing criminal activity. He can't commit a crime when you work for the state, doing what the state has appointed you to do. Now, from the Freeway Ricky Ross case, his research notes is compiled in a book called Dope Inc. The research notes tell you who did it, how much they made, where they located, and how they hid the money. Really only concerned with following the money. Big Meech shouldn't be there. BMF, if y'all out there, y'all need to be paying attention. Y'all need to be getting this motherfucking soldier back on the block. He was teaching you niggas how to live like royalty again. Now, color law is a masquerade. It's a charade, a falsehood. So, yeah. Yep. The court is no different than a basketball court, a tennis court. It's the same shit. It's a game. You don't have to play the game. You ever try to make a child play basketball that don't want to play? It's kind of not easy. Because if you don't do anything, you can't play the game. Now, so we got all laws commercial. Anybody in there is an irreconcilable conflict of interest because all parties are bar members except you. The next thing is the color of law. Those who masquerade as representing the law are imposters on the land. The United States Corporation of D.C. is not our capital. Our capital was in Philadelphia. They moved it when they established a corporate fiction known as the United States. Now, the U.S. Supreme Court has already ruled that the United States is a corporation. Okay, so now, as a regular person, will you allow Microsoft employees to walk in your house and take your wife, your kids, because they said they committed computer piracy? You wouldn't do it. You wouldn't tolerate it. But you tolerating it and you doing it in ignorance. Right? So that's why in the book it says, surely my children shall suffer for lack of knowledge. What you don't know is more detrimental than what you do know. When we was growing up, I used to hear this saying, what you don't know can't hurt you. Bull fucking shit. What you don't know got you a slave and you think you free. As long as you thinking you free, you can never recover your inalienable rights. And as long as you think you free, you don't even know that your rights have been undermined. And as long as you don't know, hey, Londa, long as you don't know your rights have been undermined, you won't say nothing to get them back. And now you got to remember, you got the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be held against you in a court of law. And anything that's held against you in a court of law will be held against you. I mean, they're going to hold everything against you that they can in their legal fiction, they kangaroo courts. So once you establish that, they have to tell you how their jurisdiction is competent. You just have to ask the questions. They have to satisfy the record with a competent, coherent answer that's predicated in the law that you just quoted. They're going to do all kind of legal shuffling and back, but once you ask the direct question that requires a direct answer, the best way to formulate the question is yes or no questions, so that they can't evade the question by you leaving it ambiguous. When you leave it ambiguous, they figure you don't know what you're talking about. But when it's direct yes or no, then that's how you get them. That's right. So they say ignorance of the law is no excuse, which is what their maximum law is. That's what the whole judicial system is predicated upon, that maxim. Where does it come from? It comes from Rome. In Rome, they wrote it a little different. In Rome, it says, for he who will be deceived, let him be deceived. Hey, Chiquita. So that means that as long as you allowing them to trick you, they're going to keep tricking you. As long as you tolerate the deception and the trickery, they're going to keep giving it to you. I'm not tolerating it. I'm not participating in their shenanigans or their games. So the Dope Inc. is the research notes for Big Meech. I hope Big Meech people listen damn night. You bump straight today. So, you let him kill Tukey, you ain't had nothing to say. I ain't seen now one of these fake leaders say nothing about Tukey. Everybody know that shit was fabricated. The same as GINDJAB. They let Geronimo sit in that motherfucker all them goddamn years while Johnny fought, but wasn't nobody saying shit. There's no way I was supposed to made it to the 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, and Geronimo Pratt shit ain't always something in unrest about, because we all knew it was a fake case to start with, just like Tukey, just like Larry, just like Jeff, just like Mumia, just like Imam Mumia. All you motherfuckers is sitting here watching your leadership fall. They fighting like a motherfucker for you weak bitch-made ass niggas, and y'all sit there and tuck your nuts and tape them motherfuckers between your legs, put on a skirt so you don't have to be a man. What the fuck kind of bitch shit is that? We don't need no bitch-made soldiers in the army. We need some soldiers. We need them niggas that's crippin', them brothers that's looking out over death. We need them motherfucking almighty peace stones in this bitch. Remember what Jeff told the police? How many of your so-called leaders told the police, nigga, won't be no motherfucking killing without killing? You don't even know what the fuck going on. They can't have us woke. Because if us be woke, I might wake. Since us not woke, I's gonna wake. And now, all eyes gonna see. Because we not so goddamn dumb, we gonna keep letting them kill our soldiers off, especially our brightest minds. Are you fucking serious? You think we gonna lose a Tupac on some fucking East Coast, West Coast fabricated bullshit beef? Are you serious? You think we gonna let Biggie die for that dumbass shit? Are you fucking serious? Where did you niggas come from? Did they make y'all niggas in the laboratory and pass y'all off as newborns or something? Did they take the brain out and put a little box in there like Jack in the Box so somebody gotta wind that motherfucker up? Rapping and tapping is my motherfucking game. Rapping and tapping is my motherfucking game. Morpheus Mysticus Magus is the motherfucking name. Every time you say that motherfucker, you speak liberation into the air. Because the more free us, meaning to free us from the fake Moors. That means all the real Moors is free. It's all in the name. It's a whole discourse on my page. The name is explained. The name is alchemically charged to liberate your dumb ass. So you can say Morpheus, or you can say Morpheus the General, or you can say Morpheus Magus, or you can say Morpheus, Morpheus, Morpheus. It don't matter what you say. If you say the name, you putting the vibration of liberation in the air. More free us. The homonym is not the spelling.